All right, let's get to know the Northman. I have planned and totally believe that I'm going to get some footage of me working out so that I don't sound like someone who's talking about something that he himself does not do. But I just been so far behind my business, it's been terrible. So I just got to get caught up. It happens sometimes. Those wheels keep going, and we got to make time for the stuff that we want to do. I got to make more time to learn German. I got another business I'm trying to start, etc., etc. But I did want to talk, going back to the first episode, the first Friday's episode of this month, about exercise. And I want to talk about the reality of how the body responds. Unless you are on gear, and gear being testosterone, steroids, or PEDs, or whatever, unless you're on something like that, the only way that your body will really respond using weights, or really even body weight, so yoga, or if you're just doing freestanding squats where it's just your body weight, the only way your body will really respond is if you hit the full range of motion, or you put your body in a distressed position safely, and then demand that it lift itself out of that position. So if you're doing free weight standing squats where it's just your body weight, you squat to depth, stand back up. Or if you have a weight strapped to your waist like I do, I belt squat. Or if you're someone who's still trying to squat traditionally for a competition, you have that bar on your back and you're squatting that weight on your back. You need to hit depth. And for me, depth is the full range of motion. It's the lowest that you can go. And I'm going to talk real quick about the difference between parallel and squatting deep. But whether you're facilitating the squat, the power clean, bench press, whatever the case may be, any variant of those workouts, or walking lunges, the way your body responds is that you have to put yourself in a distressed position, basically in the hole. No pun intended here, not trying to sound funny, but basically as deep as you can get. She likes it deep. And then stand up or push yourself or press the weight out of it. That's the only way you can do that. There's a lot of bodybuilders that we see do a lot of half reps. And the reason why that is because they're on testosterone, PEDs, or steroids. And their body is responding so well to the workout because of the androgynous, that's the wrong word, because of the excess amounts of testosterone and or just chemicals raging through their system. Allowing them to heal faster. So it allows for those muscle fibers to tear in an organic, healthy fashion, and then rebuild and grow stronger and grow greater in size and shape. If you're like me and you're not on anything like that, the only way you can get size and strength is actually going the full range of motion, or as deep as you can, and then pressing the weight out. And the reason why I say that is because I see a lot of people in the gym, mainly with squats, who go just above parallel. They go just above the range of motion where they're not hitting depth and they're not really engaging and forcing their posterior tract as well as their quads to really engage the way they should to really get the greatest amount of strength and size. And the reason that is probably just because they're scared, or they don't want to back the weight down and start at a lower weight to build up organically. There's a lot of guys that do half reps with high weight because they would rather look better doing the workout than be strong. But the fact of the matter is, the only way you can the only way your body can really move forward is if you do the full workout in the full range of motion. Otherwise, you're not really doing anything. And I would encourage anyone and everyone who gets in the gym or who exercises in general, whatever you're doing, do your best to really focus on getting the full range of motion that you possibly can, because otherwise you're just cheating yourself, and you also look ridiculous. if you're squatting, go as deep as you can. If you're benching, obviously, have the bar touch your chest. I use something, I think it's called the Kramer bar, where it actually has a U in it, and it allows you to go past about 3 or 4 inches about normally where the bar would be, which stretches the muscle even further. Because at the end of the day, all you can really do, say with the chest, is stretch and contract it. That's all you can really do. I don't know how well you can target the outside of the chest to get more outer sweep. I don't know if you can, but you can stretch it as far as you can and contract it back, which will create size and strength within the muscle group itself. And there's ways to do that. You can do dumbbell bench, etc., bench, decline, whatever. But my point is, you always want to go as deep as you can. You always want to get the full range of motion possible, because that's how your body is really going to respond, again, organically, if you're not on PEDs or testosterone or steroids or any other supplement that may be out there that could help you get strong and jacked. I don't know. But if you're working out in the gym and you're not competing, so I work out and I try to be strong. My goal is 315 this year on bench and 405 on squat. Of course, it's belt squat. My high goal that I have for myself is I leg press 1,000 pounds. I go very deep on the leg press. I don't go to parallel. I don't do 90. I try to basically mimic the leg press, with the leg press, what I do with my squats. There's a lot of reasons for that, but that's just, it feels better for me that way, and I feel like I'm actually hitting the lift better. But another big goal of mine is to be able to do walking lunges with 150-pound dumbbells in each hand. So those are 2 big goals I have. Once I achieve those goals, or really the bench and the squat goal, I'm going to try to get to the point to where I can military press 225, because I think I weigh 225. I fluctuate between 225 and 230. If I can military press my body weight, that's pretty good. Excuse me. But the point is, the way I work out, because I'm not competing, I always try to go as deep as I can, or I try to get the full range of motion that I possibly can. Now, if you are competing, okay, if you are going to a powerlifting meet, right, where one of the events, say, is squat, it probably doesn't behoove you to go the very common term ass to grass. It probably doesn't behoove you to do that, because what you're actually doing in that moment, even though the competition is centered around these lifts, it's centered around these movements, you're actually there to complete the event to the degree you're at the level that the judge says that's a good lift, right? So it isn't really the same thing. So if you're trying to train for a powerlifting meet, I would encourage you to train and get as strong as you can within the range of movement that allows you to hit the event, hit the movement, and it be considered an acceptable lift without going too deep or too past the plane of whatever the case may be. I personally think competitive benching is much harder than what I do in the gym. I don't pause at the bottom when I bench. Those guys, I was spotting a guy the other day who just needed me to help him. He had 365 on the bar. He's a little shorter than me, but probably about 30 pounds on me. And he paused and just pressed it up. Very, very strong. I have a hard time with that. I can't do that. So the bench workout, the bench aspect of powerlifting, I think is harder than what's in the gym. But for squatting, I think it really makes the most sense. If you're going to be competitive and if you're going to try to do a lift at a meet, it really behooves you to just hit parallel, because you're just making it harder for you if you go deep squat or ass to grass, whatever the case may be, however you want to say it. You just make it harder for yourself to compete and facilitate the event. But those are 2 different philosophies, really 3 different philosophies if you're talking about professional bodybuilders who are on testosterone and steroids, who do a lot of half reps. Another reason why professional bodybuilders do that is because you do, in the highest percentage or the highest likelihood of injury for a lift does happen at the bottom and the very top of the movement. That's just the way it is. And if you're in the gym as much as bodybuilders are, professional bodybuilders and or aspiring professional bodybuilders, they're lifting all the time. So it actually behooves them to train in a certain way where they not only get great results because they're on testosterone, steroid, or PEDs, but also, too, limiting their risk of injury by not going the full range of motion. And a lot of them don't lift that heavy. So for the rest of us, though, people who aren't competing, okay, I want to get my hands in there. People who aren't competing, people who are not trying to be bodybuilders. Maybe you want to have a great physique, but you're not a bodybuilder. You always want to go the full range of motion. You always want to go as deep and as far as you possibly can to get the greatest contraction. To get the greatest stretch and contraction that you possibly can. That's how you build strength. That's how you build size. And in many ways, it's how you build shape. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about here probably Friday of next week. Maybe I'll get into the gym and do a video with myself with squats, and then using, I think it's called the Kramer bar. I could be wrong with the name of the bar, but it's actually really great. And I'm using it now because it puts me in an even greater distress position than regular bench, forcing me to get stronger. Hopefully when I go back to the straight bar, I'll be even stronger. That's my theory. I could be wrong. But I wanted to get that video out today. If you're going to start working out, and I encourage you to, again, the gods have saw fit to only give you one body. Use it to the best of your ability and cultivate it to the greatest degree that you can. Don't cheat yourself. Go the full range of motion, even if you have to do assisted lifts. I have a friend of mine who doesn't like doing lunges because he can't go all the way down. And I tell him, put your hand on a machine nearby and drop that knee all the way to the floor and stand back up. Even if you have to do assisted, that's still better than faking it. That's still better than a quarter squat or a quarter lunge, or, you know, not really arching your back so high that the movement of your arm for bench is so low you're not even really doing anything, or so short. So this has been, you know, something that I want to touch on. It's interesting too because, again, with all these social media apps and people in the gym and these Fitstagrammers, et cetera, you see a lot of people that are doing a lot of like visually cool stuff, but they're just doing it wrong, or their focus is wrong. And at the end of the day, guys, strength knowledge, or knowledge of strength training, it's what works has been the same for probably 100 years, if not more. It's just the way it is. You can't get around it. And that also provides really a great benefit in that we know it works. We know that's how our bodies behave. And all we have to do is do the full range of motion, get as deep as we can, and do the workout. It's very simple. So I wanted to put this video out today to talk about that. I try to, when I work out, I always try to do the full range of motion in anything that I'm doing, because that's where I get strength, that's where I get size. For my business, which is a very physical business, I have to be as strong and conditioned as I possibly can. Now, I don't look like an athlete. I'm probably not as strong as most athletes, but my training regime, what I do, allows me to wield a 28-foot, 60-pound ladder easily, or run around with a pressure washer, or climb up and down ladders on roofs, et cetera, because I'm physical in the gym and I'm getting the full range of motion, I'm getting strong, and I'm also hitting cardio. So it's important that if you get in the gym, you always want to go the full range of motion. And I would encourage anyone who's getting into the gym for the first time, you should make the investment to just hire a trainer. Just hire a trainer for the first month, get them started with you on basic movements and getting the ball rolling, and then from there build on to that. My original stance, the first video, is the same. Squat, bench, deadlift, squat, bench, leg press. For me, I don't deadlift. I need to start deadlifting, but I'm going to do it for more therapeutic reasons for my lower back. I'm not going to try to get strong with deadlift because I've injured my lower back so many times. But those three main movements, walking lunges, those three main movements, 4 if you want to include walking lunges and 5 if you want to include leg press, will get you stronger and will actually help you tone your body and burn fat with a good diet and hitting, basically a real quick cardio session 3 days a week at the end of the workout. It's really profound how successful it is. So wanted to get this out today. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe, get in the gym, cultivate your body. You only get one, and get as strong as you can. Let's go.